guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have swatches for you from the February Hella Handmade Creations. If you don't know what Hella Handmade Creations is, every month a bunch of different indie makers get together and they make one polish based off an individualized theme. So each maker has their own theme instead of everybody coordinating to one theme, and they contribute an exclusive polish that'll be available the 14th to the 21st of every month. So this one will go on sale on Valentine's Day. In the description box below, I will link the Hella Handmade Creations site and their Instagram page, and then I will list all the polishes in the orders that they're seen. But I have 28 polishes today, so I don't have enough space in my description to link everybody. So 28 polishes. I will not ramble this video, and let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to talk about real quick is the Locked In Adhesive Base Coat from under A Hula Moon. This is their gift with purchase this month. If you spend $75 or more, you get this for free. There's no code needed. You don't have to add it to your cart or anything like that. It is just a free gift with purchase. I do prefer my base coats to have this blue tinted base. I feel like they last longer. They are nice and sticky. They dry quickly. So this is a really good quality base coat. Onto the polishes themselves. First up, from Bee's Knees Lacquer, we have Obviously It's a Space Snake. This is inspired by Rick and Morty, and it's described as a charcoal gray full of green shimmer. This will retail for $11 and there is no cap. This one is very beautifully shifty on the nails. It does take 3 coats to build up to opacity. That's not abnormal for multi-chromes. For the strongest shift possible, they do have to be a little bit more on the sheer side. It does have a good, smooth, easy to work with formula. It dries a little dull, so you'll want top coat, but nothing's going to dry textured or be difficult to remove. So in my swatch photo, you're going to see 3 coats of Obviously It's a Space Snake and a glossy top coat. Up next, from Blush Lacquers, we have Cady's Big Day. This was inspired by Mean Girls, and it's described as a cool-toned camo green nail polish with red to orange to gold shifting multi-chrome flakes and holographic microflakes. This will retail for $11 and there is no cap. This is so pretty. I really like this. I like the green against the red. I think it's beautiful. The little hollow flakes that are in here are so gorgeous. It gives it kind of like a Mod Podgey kind of feel to it. Very gorgeous built up. It does take 3 coats to build up, but again, a smooth, easy to work with formula. Blush is kind of, you're guaranteed a good formula with blush. So I really like this. This is going to look beautiful, glossy, and matte. This one's going to dry on the dull side, so you will want top coat for that reason, but nothing is going to dry textured and nothing is going to be difficult to remove. So in my swatch photo, you're going to see 3 coats of Cady's Big Day and a glossy top coat. Up next, from Chirality, we have the Briefcase. This is inspired by the Tarantino effect, and it's described as a golden taupe jelly overflowing with striking gold shimmer and microflakes, accented with gold to green to red iridescent flakies and red to gold ultra chrome chameleon flakies. This will retail for $12 and there is no cap. I was actually really surprised at how much I liked this one on me. In the bottle it is pretty, but it's not something that I would generally reach for. But this one actually really surprised the heck out of me. This is so beautiful, so fun, very smooth, easy to work with formula. Again, it will dry with a slight bit of texture because of the larger flakes that are in here, but nothing is going to be difficult to remove. So you will want top coat, but you don't necessarily need a peel off base coat. So in my swatch photo, you're going to see 2 coats of the Briefcase and a glossy top coat. Next up, from Deeva, we have I Love You But I Love Me More. This was inspired by Sex and the City, and it's described as a black base loaded with blue shimmer, hollow flakes, ultra chrome chameleon flakes, scattered hollow, and other various goodies. This will retail for $12 and there is no cap. Once again, this is really pretty. It has blue, red, and gold, like tiny little micro glitters in here. And in theory, in my head, that should not work, but on the nail, this is stunning. It has a good formula. It does take 3 coats to build up to opacity. Again, those shifty elements in there kind of need a more sheared out base to stand out. So that would be why, but these little ultra chrome chameleon flakes that are in here also kind of pop off the nail. I wish I had time to throw a matte top coat on this. I did not, but very gorgeous polish. Formula is a little bit on the thicker side, but it's not difficult to work with. It stays right where you put it. It is going to dry with some texture, so you will want a nice, thicker, glitter-eating glossy top coat to smooth this out. And removal is going to be a little bit difficult. So in my swatch photo, you're going to see 3 coats of I Love You, but I Love Me More in a glossy top coat. Up next from DRK Nails, we have Time of Renewal. This is inspired by the Chronicles of Narnia, and it's described as a holographic light pink polish filled with ultra chrome chameleon flakies that shift red to bronze, iridescent flakies that shift orange to green, and a soft red shimmer, as well as holographic micro flakies. This will retail for $11.90, and there's a cap of 150 bottles. This is one of those polishes that is just kind of easy to wear at any time. Very always appropriate polishes. It can be kind of a office setting polish with a little bit of extra flair to it, or it can definitely be like a night out kind of polish. It is very versatile in that way. Does have a very good smooth formula, completely opaque in 2 coats. It will dry dull, so you will want top coat for that reason, and it might dry with the slightest bit of texture. Removal's not super easy, but it's not super difficult either because it doesn't have any micro glitter, but it does have a ton of these flakes in there. So in my swatch photo, you're going to see 2 coats of Time of Renewal in a glossy top coat. Up next from Enchanted Polish, we have Blackbird. This is inspired by the Beatles, and it's described as a rose to gold to green multi-chrome effect in a blackened base. This will retail for $16, and there's a cap of 130 bottles available. So I've said it before that I'm not the hugest fan of like just straight multi-chromes, but this is actually a multi-chrome that I've never seen the color combination of before. The shift in here is very strong, very beautiful. I really actually thoroughly enjoy this multi-chrome. It does take 3 coats to build up to opacity. Again, with these shifty elements, that's not abnormal to see. You do have to have the more sheer base to get the most effect out of the shiftiness. This is going to dry pretty glossy all on its own. If you had to skip top coat, you could. I would still recommend it just to keep your manicure lasting a little bit longer. But it does dry glossy, nothing is going to dry textured, and nothing is going to be difficult to remove. So in my swatch photo, you're going to see 3 coats of Blackbird in a glossy top coat. Up next from Fancy Glass, we have Ella. This is inspired by Disney princesses, and it's described as a light blue when cold to white when warm with tiny white glitter, iridescent glitters, some gold flakes, and tiny hollow flakes. This will retail for $12, and there's a cap of 150 bottles available. So the formula on this is pretty thick. It's not difficult to work with, but you do want to work in thinner coats just to make sure everything has time enough to dry. Otherwise, you're going to be scraping off glitter from your previous coat when you're applying your next coat. This does take 3 coats to build up as well. If you're not super picky, you could probably get away with 2. But in the warm state, the white state, you will see nail line on 2 coats. This is absolutely loaded with glitter, so it is going to dry textured. You will want a thicker glitter-eating glossy top coat to smooth this out, and removal is going to be pretty difficult. So in my swatch photo, you're going to see 3 coats of Ella in a glossy top coat. Up next from Femme Fatale, we have Jelly Bears. This is inspired by candy, and it's described as a squishy pinkish jelly base that's really sheer. It's packed with iridescent rainbow flakes and assorted iridescent glitters in various colors and sizes. This will retail for $13, and there is no cap. So like the description said, this one is a very sheer. I did 3 coats and I could still make out my nail line. You could theoretically wear this as a topper. It does say so in the description. I put it as a topper on a couple things in a nail wheel and it wasn't super even. So that wouldn't be my preferred way of wearing this. I personally don't mind a little bit of visible nail line, but I do know it bothers some people. Formula is, again, a little bit thick on this one. These kind of jelly-ish polishes that are loaded with these added elements do tend to be on the thicker side. It's fine for right now, but after a couple uses, I could definitely see needing some thinner on this one. This is going to dry with some pretty intense texture, so you will want a glossy top coat to smooth this out. 2 coats if it's a thinner top coat, 1 coat if it's a nice, thick, glitter-eating top coat. And removal is going to be a little bit difficult. So, in my swatch photo, you're going to see 3 coats of Jelly Bears and a glossy top coat. Up next from Heather's Hues, we have That's What She Said. This is inspired by The Office, and it's described as a thermal dark denim blue when cold and gray when warm. It's filled with red to copper to gold to green, iridescent shimmer, and a mix of flakies and purple to lime to pink to gold. This one will retail for $12.50, and there's a cap of 120 bottles available. This is really, really beautiful. I love, okay, so it's got this like deeper base, right? But then the shifty shimmer that's in here stands out against that base, and it contrasts with that base so well that it's super apparent on the nail. It's very, very shifty, very beautiful. I really, really like this one. Definitely a standout this month for me. I got this one opaque in 2 coats. Depending on your application, you might want to go in for 3 because in the warm state it is going to be a little bit more sheer. Again, I don't mind a little bit of nail line if I happen to see that warm state, but if I'm wearing a thermal naturally, very rarely does it ever go in the warm state unless I'm in the shower or washing my hands. This does have a nice smooth formula though. Nothing in this is going to dry textured or be difficult to remove, but it does dry on the dull side, so you will want a top coat. But in my swatch photo, you're going to see 2 coats of That's What She Said in a glossy top coat. Next up from Indie by Patty Lopes, we have Sara. This is inspired by Orphan Black, and it's described as a black base with a dark gray micro flaky, blue and black micro galaxy glitter hollow. This will retail for $11, and there's a cap of 90 bottles available. I actually really like it when Indie by Patty Lopes does this kind of formula. It's these tiny little micro glitters in a colored base, and it's really gorgeous. Like, I mean, it doesn't sound like anything special, but she does put like a contrasting glitter color in there. So as a full manicure, it kind of looks like a blue polish, but it is black. Very gorgeous. I don't even know how to describe these kind of polishes. And then it's got like the gold hollow glitter in here, and it kind of just bounces off of itself. It's really, really beautiful. This is one that you're going to have to see in person to understand kind of where I'm coming from with that. Formula is really good. I fully expected to have to do 3 coats for this, but it was completely opaque in 2. Depending on your application, you might need to go in for 3. This is going to dry with some serious texture. You will want a top coat to smooth this out, and removal is going to be pretty difficult. So in my swatch photo, you're going to see 2 coats of Sara in a glossy top coat. Up next from Kathleen Co, we have Hibiscus. This is inspired by nature, and it's described as a red to white thermal with iridescent flakies and a light sprinkling of hollow. This will retail for $12, and there's a cap of 75 bottles available. Thermals aren't my favorite thing in the world. I mean, they're not bad, but as far as swatching them goes, I don't love doing it because staying in the warm state long enough to capture a photo for me can be a task. But this one was very easy. It's a very smooth transitioner. It does have a smooth, easy to work with formula. I got this opaque in 2 coats. Depending on your application, you might want to do 3 because in the warm state, it is going to be a little bit more sheer than in the cold. This is going to dry dull, so you will want top coat for that reason, but nothing is going to dry textured or be difficult to remove. I didn't have time to add a matte top coat to this one either, but I do think it would be really beautiful. So in my swatch photo, you're going to see 2 coats of Hibiscus in a glossy top coat. Up next from Lollipop Posse Lacquer, we have Their Own Destruction. This was inspired by Destruction of Neil Gaiman's Endless. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time saying destruction, but it's described as a red to gold multichrome filled with 2 colorways of shifting iridescent flakes, holographic microflakes, and a smattering of a linear holographic pigment. This will retail for $13, and there's a cap of 125 bottles available. So I've seen this formula from Lollipop Posse before, and it is very good. She has this formula down packed, not too thick, not too thin, very smooth and easy to work with. This took 2 coats to build up to opacity. It's not as shifty on your nail as it is in the bottle, but in the right lighting sources, it is definitely shifty. You will want top coat for this. It does dry dull and with the slightest bit of texture because of the larger flakes that are in here, but nothing is going to be difficult in this polish to remove. So in my swatch photo, you're going to see 2 coats of Their Own Destruction and a glossy top coat. Next up from Lynn B Designs, we have I'm Like Seeing Colors. This was inspired by the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and it's described as a bright pink crelly base filled with purple to green Aurora shimmer, micro hollow flakies, and a rainbow of shifting flakies. This will retail for $12, and there's a cap of 90 bottles available. I can straight up see the inspiration in this polish. This bright, fun, flirty kind of pink is so Kimmy Schmidt, and it is right on point with like the inspiration. Formula is good. It's a little bit thick, but it's not difficult to work with. It does take 3 coats to build up to opacity. This is another one that you're going to want to make sure your coats are entirely dry before moving on to the next coat. Otherwise, it can get a little bit goopy on your nail. This is going to dry pretty dull, so you will want a top coat for that reason. I'm sure this one will look really beautiful matte. I did not do that, but nothing in this is going to be difficult to remove. So in my swatch photo, you're going to see 3 coats of I'm like seeing colors in a glossy top coat. Up next from Nail Hoot, we have Sugar Plum. This was inspired by the Nutcracker in the Four Realms, and it's described as a dose of fairy pink shimmer, adds a flashy sparkle to the Victorian purple base. It has a linear hollow pigment, and it illuminates the polish with a striking rainbow finish. This will retail for $10.99, and there is no cap. This is the last in their series, and I will honestly say that this was a really good series, and this is a good polish to end on. I don't love purple polishes, but this one is beautiful and flattering. A very good, very smooth formula, completely opaque in 2 coats. It will dry dull, so you will want top coat for that reason, but nothing is going to dry textured, and nothing is going to be difficult to remove. So in my swatch photo, you're going to see 2 coats of Sugar Plum in a glossy top coat. Up next from Necessary Evil, we have Plant Cells. This is inspired by Under the Microscope, and it is the last in their series. This is described as a bright green base with a red to green to gold shifting aurora, scattered hollow, and orange to pink to gold shifting iridescent flakies. This will retail for $12, and there is no cap. I'm really excited to have this one in the summertime. This is very bright, very bold. The shifty shimmer that's in here stands out really beautifully. The flakes that are in here stand out really beautifully. It does have a good formula, a little thick, not difficult to work with. Whenever I say a little thick though, I mean like in comparison to like an OPI cream. Not difficult whatsoever, just a little bit thicker than that. This does take 3 coats to build up to opacity. It will dry on the dull side, so you will want top coat. Nothing where you're going to need like a thick top coat. There's no texture to hide in this, but it does dry dull, so you will want top coat, and nothing is going to be difficult to remove. So in my swatch photo, you're going to see 3 coats of Plant Cells in a glossy top coat. Next up from Night Owl Lacquer, we have I'm Not Doing Anything Else for Men Today, and that's probably my favorite name of this month's selections. This is inspired by That 70s Show, and it's described as a purple crowley filled with fuchsia to violet to blue to green crystal chameleon flakies and blue to purple to red to gold ultra chrome chameleon flakies. This will retail for $12.50, and there is no cap. This is nice and squishy on the nail. I don't know about anybody else, but whenever I see a purple jelly, all I can think about is jelly, like Smucker's jelly. And I'm not mad at that. I really like this. The flakes that are in here are beautiful. This is going to look gorgeous matte. This is going to look gorgeous glossy. It clashes with my skin tone, so these aren't purples that I wear ever, but I really can appreciate how beautiful this one is. It does take 3 coats to build up to opacity, a smooth, easy to work with formula. You will want top coat because some of these larger flakes create a slight bit of texture, but nothing in this is going to be difficult to remove. So in my swatch photo, you're going to see 3 coats of I'm Not Doing Anything Else for Men Today and a glossy top coat. Up next from my brand Pampered Polishes, we have this swatch is 2 Days Slow. This is inspired by Alice in Wonderland, and it's described as a chartreuse leaning green crowley with a lime green shimmer, scattered hollow, hollow flakes, platinum flakes, and a cool toned ultra chrome chameleon flakies. This will retail for $12, and there are 75 bottles available. I think this has a good formula. It takes 3 coats to build up to opacity, and doing it that way you can see the hollow and the flakes and the iridescent bits in here stand out a little bit better. This does have like a frosty element to it. It does have some brush strokes to it whenever it's wet. Those do go away as it dries, and it kind of ends up as this nice, beautiful metallic manicure. This is going to dry on the dull side, so you will want top coat for that reason, but nothing is going to dry textured and nothing is going to be difficult to remove. So in my swatch photo, you're going to see 3 coats of this watch is 2 Days Slow and a glossy top coat. Up next from Penelope Luz, we have Nightwish. This is inspired by Symphonic Metal, and it's described as a purple base with several pigments that give depth and color. This will retail for $11.50, and there are 200 bottles available. This is a really, really pigmented polish. Depending on your application, you could get away with 1 coat. I did show you what 2 looks like today. But again, I saw this in By Patty Lopes. You have this base color with these contrasting tiny itty bitty micro glitters, and it kind of changes the color look to the manicure. And I think it's really, really stunning. I love the little gold bits that are in here. This does have a good formula. Like I said, almost a 1 coat or completely opaque in 2. This is going to dry dull and textured, so you will want top coat for that reason, and removal is going to be a little bit difficult. So, in my swatch photo, you're going to see 2 coats of Nightwish in a glossy top coat. Up next from Pop Polish, we have Wakanda Forever. This is inspired by heroines, and it's described as a chocolate brown base with red to gold with silver and gold, random cut flakies, and holographic flakes. This will retail for $14.50, and there is no cap. This is a super light tinted base. I got this one opaque in 3 coats. You're more so building up all of the flakes that are in here and the little holographic bits than the base color. Formula is good though. It's not too thick, not too thin. You do have to be careful with brushes because, Pops brushes, because they are very long. You do have a really long stem. You will have polish leak down the stem of the brush, so it can cause for a thicker coat than necessary. So bear that in mind when you're painting your nails with pop polishes. They can be a little finicky in that way, but formula itself is really good. This is going to dry pretty textured, so you will want top coat for that reason, and removal is going to be a little difficult. So in my swatch photo, you're going to see 3 coats of Wakanda Forever in a glossy top coat. Up next from Pretty Jelly, we have 10 of Pentacles. This is inspired by tarot cards, and it's described as a seafoam green crelly with magenta glitter and flakies, a gold shimmer, and fine hollow glitter. This will retail for $12.50, and there is no cap. I love this polish. So it does have these larger gold glitters and these large-ish pink glitters, but I wasn't able to get any of those out of my bottle, and I'm not mad about it. I think this is really, really beautiful without those elements. I'm sure it would be beautiful with them, but I really liked how my manicure looked with just the flakes that are in here. Formula is smooth. It took 2 coats to build up to opacity, which I was pretty impressed with it being such a light colored base. I didn't have any kind of texture, but it does dry down dull, so you will want top coat for that reason. If you get any of these larger glitters, you might have some added texture to hide, and removal was easy for me, but again, if you get any of these added glitters, removal might be a little bit more difficult. This was another standout in this month for me. So, in my swatch photo, you're going to see 2 coats of 10 of Pentacles in a glossy top coat. Up next from Royal Lacquer, we have Royal. This is inspired by London, and it's described as a vibrant purple jelly with purple, pink, and blue color shifting and crushed gold flakes. This will retail for $12, and there is no cap. Again, these kind of grape purple jelly polishes really remind me of like Smucker's jelly, and I think they're so cute. I wish I could wear something like this like on a day-to-day basis, but it does not look good with my like olivey skin color. But it is a really, really beautiful polish. These shifty flakes that are in here are so gorgeous. There's so many. It's really, really stunning. This has a good formula. It does take 3 coats to build up to opacity. You're working with a jelly polish, and you're wanting to build up each base so you can see kind of like a 3-dimensional look on the nail with those flakes. This is going to dry on the dull side, and some of these larger flakes can have some texture to them, so you will want a top coat to smooth that out, but nothing in this is going to be difficult to remove. So in my swatch photo, you're going to see 3 coats of Royal in a glossy top coat. Up next from Sassy Pants Polish, we have Forbidden Fruit. This is inspired by Lucifer, and it's described as an ivy green linear and scattered holographic polish with gold and red shimmer. This will retail for $12, and there's a cap of 100 bottles available. I really like this one. I love this kind of green. It's very flattering on me. It does have a good, smooth, easy to work with formula, very holographic indoors and outdoors. It took me 2 coats to build up to opacity. Looking back on that, I probably should have done a 3rd coat, which I'm fine doing 3 coats. That's not a deal breaker for me. I know it is for some people, but you are really going to get a lot of this green flash in there if you build up 3 coats slowly, as opposed to trying to go in for 2 thicker coats like I did with my video. That being said, my video has 2 coats, my photo has 3. This is going to dry dull and with the slightest bit of texture, so you will want top coat to smooth that out, but removal is going to be not easy but not difficult. So in my swatch photo, you're going to see 3 coats of Forbidden Fruit and a glossy top coat. Up next from Schlee Polish, we have Darkening. This is inspired by the Dark Crystal, and it's described as a greenish gray base with a purple duochrome shimmer, blued purple flakies, and black holographic micro glitter. This will retail for $15, and there is no cap. I am currently still really loving gray polishes, but this one has so many like extra special things to it. Some lightings it leans a little green, some it leans a little blue, some you can see that purple flash, but in all you can see these flakes, and they are stunning. This is going to look really beautiful matte. This is going to look really beautiful glossy. This does have a smooth formula. It took me 2 coats to build up to opacity. You might need a 3rd coat, but I really highly doubt that. This is going to dry dull, so you will want top coat for that reason, but nothing is going to dry textured or be difficult to remove. So in my swatch photo, you're going to see 2 coats of Darkening and a glossy top coat. Up next from Supernatural, we have Adrenaline. This is inspired by neurotransmitters, and it's described as a magenta to gold to green multichrome hollow. This will retail for $12.50, and there's a cap of 125 bottles available. Talk about a multichrome. This is beautiful. I haven't met a Supernatural polish that I did not like, and this is no exception. Very shifty on the nails. What I really like about these kind of multichromes, like I was talking about in Enchanted, I don't typically just like multichromes. I like multichromes with something in them. So this one is beautifully shifty in its base and beautifully shifty with the added hollow. So you're getting shifty on shifty, and I really, really like that. Formula is smooth. It took 3 coats to build it to opacity. Again, that's not unusual for a multichrome polish whatsoever. You can build all of these multichromes up. I don't think I've said it yet, but you can build all of these up over a darker base, a black, a navy, a dark purple, if you didn't want to do 3 coats of this on its own, and you will get a similar effect. This one in particular is going to dry nice and glossy all on its own. If you don't have time for a top coat, you don't necessarily need one, would still recommend. Nothing in this is going to dry textured or be difficult to remove, so in my swatch photo you're going to see 3 coats of Adrenaline and a glossy top coat. Next up from Turtle Tootsies, we have Raise Your Glass. This is inspired by the singer Pink, and it's described as a rose-colored hollow base with multiple Ultra Chrome Chameleon Flakies and gold to green Ultra Chrome Chameleon Flakies. This will retail for $11.50, and there's a cap of 75 bottles available. So this one has a good formula. It does take 3 coats to build up to opacity. In order to see the added elements in here, that one's kind of necessary for this base color. Formula is good though, not too thick, not too thin, very smooth and easy to work with. It is going to dry dull and with the slightest bit of texture, so you will want top coat for that reason, but nothing in this is going to be difficult to remove. So in my swatch photo, you're going to see 3 coats of Raise Your Glass and a glossy top coat. Up next from Under a Hula Moon, we have How You Doin in their Wax Melt scent. This is inspired by Friends, and it is Joey's fragrance. It says it's a crafted blend of flirty blueberry and complex yet modern, berry sweet with a hint of smoky delight. This will retail for $4.50, and there is no cap. So it's no secret by now that I thoroughly enjoy the Under a Hula Moon wax melts. Constantly have one going in here, constantly have one going upstairs now that I've accumulated a good bit of them. This scent in particular is nice. I do get more of the blueberry scent than the smoky scent, which I'm not mad about, but it's like an underlying smoky scent. So whenever it's melting, you're going to get more of that smokiness than whenever it's not melting. So just like the rest of the waxes that I've talked about every single month, it has a strong scent, a strong throw, and a strong lasting time. I can't word today. So as usual, I really, really like this. That is the Under a Hula Moon wax melt in the scent How You Doin. And last but not least, from Vanessa Molina, we have Ophelia. This is inspired by Fawn's Labyrinth, and it's described as a magnetic wine pink nail polish with holographic flakes. This will retail for $11, and there's a cap of 100 bottles available. I forgot to re-swatch this. This is a magnetic. I did not know that whenever I first applied it. So on the label it says Magnetic Ophelia, and I just assumed that was the name because it's all on one line and all underlined together. So I assumed that was the name. Did not know it was a magnetic. Probably could have figured that out had I thought about it. So this one actually needs to be re-swatched as soon as I possibly can. That being said, I did not use the magnet on this, and I really liked it. Looking at swatch photos online, I like it a lot more magnetized. Formula is good, not too thick, not too thin, very smooth and easy to work with. I did 2 coats of this one for opacity. If you're not going to magnetize it, you could probably get away with 1. But when you do magnetize polishes, it does pull pigment from the remainder bits of polish. Seriously, cannot word today. When you magnetize a polish, it does pull pigment from the rest of the nail, so you are going to get a little bit more patchiness. So I personally, when I'm using magnetic polish, I like to have a completely opaque base before magnetizing the polish. So what I would do for this one, since it's super pigmented, is I'd apply 1 coat, I'd let it dry completely, and just go ahead and magnetize the 2nd coat. This is going to dry down dull, so you will want top coat for that reason, but nothing is going to dry textured and nothing is going to be difficult to remove. So in my swatch photo, you're going to see 2 coats of Ophelia and a glossy top coat. Guys, that is it. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this video. Let me know what your favorites were from this nice thick stack of polishes that I have here to share with you today. Let me know what else you think of the remaining polishes. I don't have all of them. I think there are like 35 polishes completely for the month of February, so I have a majority of them, but I don't have all of them. Let me know what your favorites are though from the entire site. Let me know what you plan on picking up. Talk to me. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you'd like to see more from me, and I will talk to you again next time.